Just thought I'd do a little post on the whole Chris Eubank situation with his upcoming fight coming up on February the 4th, ITV pay-per-view. Now, when Eubank Jr. left Matchroom Promotions, I'll admit I thought it was a bad move. My guess was that he tried to hook up with the US promoter, but this new ITV deal, if it works, is potentially massive. Not only does he get more exposure from fighting on a terrestrial channel, but he could really skyrocket his popularity and marketability in British boxing in the UK. Now, I think it's a clever move by the Eubanks, if you ask me. I mean, you've got to respect the way they took on, in a way, the big promoters such as Matchroom, Frank Warren, and found a pretty good alternative, because I wasn't sure what their next move was going to be. Their argument was always, why should they, the promoters, get most of the money when it's the fighter who does all the hard work and takes all the risks? Now, Eubank Jr. really needs to be as good as his father claims, or this is going to fizzle out very soon. Now, the criticism he's been receiving is that the fight is not pay-per-view worthy because it's an undervalued title held by an unknown fighter. But as Eubank has pointed out, it has been held by the likes of Golovkin, Pacquiao, Mayweather, Klitschko, and other high-profile fighters, to name a few. Plus, he says it gives him more negotiating power when it comes to making the bigger fights happen. For example, he says that other champions will want to fight him for the purpose of unifying their titles. Now, the other sanctioning bodies don't recognise the IBO as a legitimate title. So when it comes to unifying titles with other champions, I don't think that's going to carry any weight, in my opinion. Now, I've been hearing via social media that the public are tired for paying for fights that aren't pay-per-view worthy, and they think this isn't pay-per-view worthy either. And I can understand where they're coming from, especially because the undercard fights are going to be free, and you're paying $9.99 for one fight that's going to last 2 minutes or £13, whatever the case might be. I heard that there's a discount price. If you book early, you get it for $9.99. But if the undercard was on the pay-per-view platform, then I'd think £9 or £13 is quite decent value for money. I mean, £9, you can't go wrong, £10. But because the whole of the undercard is on normal TV and Eubank Jr. is the only fight that is on pay-per-view, it's not really worth getting because this fight's only going to last a couple of minutes. Now, I think Chris Eubank Jr., as a Eubank fan, is a very good, talented, gifted fighter, but I think he really needs to step up a gear now, and he really needs to think about fighting some decent opposition, because he's just going to ruin his career. All that talk about Jacobs, about Saunders, about Golovkin, nothing materialised, and I think the public feel that they're getting hoodwinked and he's sort of cheated his way to a title. So I think he really needs to, after this fight, step it up, because no one's going to remember all the good things that you do. Similar to a David Haye situation, he achieved a lot in the cruiserweight division, but because he had that fight with Klitschko, blamed it on his toe, pulled out of fights against Tyson Fury twice, and has been absent for such a long period of time, and had 2 comeback fights against virtually unknown fighters. That's all the public are remembering. So whenever Haye says something, it doesn't carry any credibility because they feel that he talks too much rubbish. Now, I'm a huge Haye fan, and I think he cleans up the heavyweight division, but his word isn't respected anymore because of his past antics. And I think with Chris Eubank, he's very marketable and he's very talented, but I think he will lose the fan base that he has if he doesn't step up a gear and decide to fight somebody decent. Now, in my opinion, I think that he would have done better by building himself, building his brand, by putting the fight on normal terrestrial ITV TV, put it on the ITV channel, and I think he would have got a lot more exposure. And once you've shown your face on the channel And once you've built up a fan base, then build yourself up to a pay-per-view platform. But I don't think this fight is pay-per-view worthy. I think, I will buy it because I'm a Eubank fan and a boxing fan. But let me know what you think about the situation. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe.